What's going on, all you wild deadites out there? It's your two favorite rascals back here for Cinephellas. I'm Logan Myers, my good mate over there.
And I'm Henry Hill. We're back from the theater for a movie that we've been anticipating for months now, ever since we heard it announced. We've seen behind the scenes pictures. We've, huge fans of the original film, obviously, Bruce Campbell, Sam Raimi's first film, cutting edge technology, awesome low budget horror film, classic one liners and practical effects galore, some great scenes, gory. We're back all these years later with the sequel to Evil Dead. We're talking about Evil Dead Rise.
Mom? Mommy's with the maggots now.
Right from the get-go, the opening shot of the film was just really incredible. Kind of sets the whole atmosphere and the vibe what they're going for, much like the vibes of, made famous by Sam Raimi in the original trilogy. But more what they're kind of going for. Introduction of the Deadite and basically the Deadite rising onto the water for Evil Dead Rise and kind of what they're going for. Really cool tone to it. Obviously in the woods, the setup, and then they kind of make their way to the city, being Los Angeles, in a high-rise apartment, introduced to this family.
I love the look of that high rise apartment. It just has like a really cool, creepy feel to it. The way it's like shaped and everything, like it's kind of like triangular with you can see the two sides off to the side. Very cool building that they picked for this. Cool location. Something that the franchise hasn't done before, going to a big city, in modern times and being a high rise. And I really appreciated the setting here and what Lee Cronin did. Yeah, right away from the get go, you get gore. And, you get some gory scenes. You see a scalp ripped off. Just gets you right in the mood for the next hour and a half that you're going to witness and all the cool shenanigans that happen along the way. Introduced to this family, actually introduced to Lily Sullivan's Beth first. She's like a groupie kind of girl, hard rock, punk rock chick. I think she's getting a tattoo or in the beginning. And she is kind of nervous because she's finding out that she's pregnant. Somebody's knocked her up and she's worried about this. But she's planning to go see her family, and they're the family that lives in the high rise there. Her sister, Ellie, she's going to go visit them, and then Ellie's children, Caleb, Bridget, and Cassie. And it's this family. They live in this high rise. They're getting together, spending time after, quite a while. They haven't seen each other. So we're set up, and, it doesn't take long before some crazy stuff starts happening, and we get, the Kandarian reading from the text, the Necronomicon. And I liked how they, introduced this here. And, with this, it being underground, the kid kind of finds the ancient texts and he finds some records where some priests have recorded, they're dealing with these demons and how they'll go about and how that goes about raising them from the dead and bringing all the mayhem that follows in the film.
Yeah, you can really tell this family's struggling, living in this. There's four of them living in a small apartment, LA, high rise. So that kind of sets up the tone of like what they're going through. They're struggling as a family, doing the best they can. And then, seeing where Ellie's character is played by Alyssa Sutherland. She was really eerie in this movie. Really great. Yeah. Two sides, Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde, having the struggling mom and her sister's coming over and they're just, meeting and talking. And then you bring in the whole Evil Dead aspect, reading that off and the vinyls and shit starts happening. You see the demons start coming from the ground and in the concrete and stuff like that. And it sets up the rest of the film. The transformation of Ellie's character, what she's going through as a mother into being a deadite and trying to kill everybody in her path.
Yeah, really awesome makeup and performance by Alyssa Sutherland in this role. Just from the poster alone, looking at her right there, she does a great job going from this, nice single mother raising, 3 kids on her own, really loving her kids. You can see that. And then she gets possessed. She's in an elevator and the demons possess her. And it's really creepy how it's done. You hear her bones break. Really amazing performance from her. Lee Cronin did an amazing job casting this and casting her as the main demon here that they're going up against and having to fend off. And, it pits the family against Ellie. They have to realize that it's not her anymore. it's it's a demon, and yeah, she comes in and she's thirsty for blood, and boy, is there a lot of blood in this film.
Just a little bit. I think they're trying to surpass Fede Alvarez's like 70,000 gallons of blood.
Gallons, yeah.
Yeah, but it's pretty close because this movie is a gore fest in terms of practical. They just top notch. It just really brings you in as, you know, a fan of horror movies, especially Evil Dead. You want to see a lot of gore, a lot of blood, a lot of death. And that's exactly what you get with a modern take on it, but with also a lot of Easter eggs and nods to the original films and a lot of horror movies as well at the same time. But right when they kind of throw you into this and what's happening with this family up in the high rise, the deadites and everything, and, you know, the mother turning evil and turning against her kids, you know, you're going to be in for a good time, and you sure as hell have a good time from the second all the way to the end.
It gives the character of Beth, Ellie's sister, transforms the movie from focusing on Ellie and then focusing on Beth to where she's at. You know, she's going to have a kid. She's pregnant with the child, and she has to take care of her nieces and nephews in this film and protect them from her sister who's been possessed. Some amazing scenes. You know, she definitely gives a performance that would make Bruce Campbell proud, and what he did in the earlier films. She's basically the new Ash in this version, and I love the inventive kills in this and the way that they did things that hadn't been done before, and that's saying a lot considering this series has done so many. You know, there's been so many inventive kills throughout. Crazy things happening. You know, we see like I mentioned before, a scalp ripped off in this. We see some nasty thing with the scissors. You see flesh being ripped off by a cheese grater, and, you know, numerous other ones in this. So they really, you know, they really outdid themselves this time with the gore, and it's exactly what you want in an Evil Dead film. You know, we don't get Bruce Campbell back in this. Outside of that, they give you just about everything else that you'd want, including the boomstick, the shotgun. You get some awesome shotgun blasts. You get just about everything that you want in an Evil Dead film, which is why I left the theater smiling and happy. And, you know, it gave me everything that I wanted from showing us the Necronomicon and putting like a modern twist on the whole franchise, you know, seeing the teeth on the outside of the book itself open up. Everything about it was demonic and just as sadistic and crazy as you'd want from this film. And Lee Cronin did a great job taking over the franchise and producing a worthy follow-up.
Absolutely. They took the original concept and they put a modern take on it, essentially. Lee Cronin did a great job writing, directing this film. Not too familiar with his work, but I'm going to be watching all his future projects. Hopefully another Evil Dead film as well, because they could possibly set it up for another sequel, but we'll have to wait and see. It's already doing pretty good at the box office, so we'll have to see how that all pans out. But overall, really impressed with this film. You know, one of my most anticipated films of the year, a, you know, franchise that I hold dear to my heart. Something I've always loved since it was released back in the day, and it's something I rewatched throughout the years, taking it to the next generation. I had a really great time with this. Alyssa Sutherland did a great job. I loved her as the main deadite. She was eerie. She got under my skin in several parts throughout the film, and her character I was thinking about after watching this. And then, of course, Lily Sullivan playing the new Ash. I'm talking about Beth. She was really great. The whole chainsaw scene at the end in the parking garage really sticks out in my mind, and a lot of great memorable shots in this film. The only downside of this movie for me personally, I thought the kids were all really annoying. But I thought that the main protagonist were really great.
Yeah, the kids were definitely there to make the stakes higher for, you know, with it being the family dynamic, and give something Beth to fight for, not only her unborn child, but these kids that she had to protect. So, but you're right. Yeah, I didn't really care for any of their performances or anything, but you know, kudos to them for being in this bloodbath of a film and having to do all this crazy stabbing people and blood and guts everywhere. The elevator scene with an obvious nod to The Shining, with it filling up with blood and then oozing out when the doors open up. Just awesome film from top to bottom. I was very happy with the result here. You know, I couldn't ask for much more. I definitely want to see more too from this. Tells us that this story could go possibly back to the woods in a future installment, but it can also go in so many different directions now. The world's kind of open up. It's in the city now. It could literally go anywhere from here. But with that being said, I had a blast with this movie, and I am going to give Evil Dead Rise a 4 out of 5 deadite hair pieces.
Yeah, I have to agree with everything that you said. Thinking about the other Evil Dead movie by Fede Alvarez that came in 2013, didn't really care for that one as much, but I enjoyed this one much more across the board. I thought everything Lee Cronin brought to this, the new direction, the new vibe, going about it in the city compared to the woods. I thought it all worked across the board. Really pleased with the final product of this. But overall, I had a great time with this film, Evil Dead Rise. I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5 Lee Cronin hair pieces.
So we want to hear what you guys thought of Evil Dead Rise. Did you guys love it as much as us? Did you enjoy all the numerous butchering, stabbing, skin being ripped off, heads being blown off, limbs, everything you could think of, every kind of kill and thing, every horror movie thing that you want to see in a film, they delivered. It wasn't only just like chilling for the transformation of Ellie, but just had about everything you could throw in a horror movie. And I thoroughly enjoyed it. And we want to hear from you guys. Please let us know in the comment section below. And as always, don't forget to click like and subscribe. Also, follow these wild dead-eyed enthusiasts on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and our website, Cinephellas.com. So that wraps it up from these Kandarian Channing movie reviewers. Until the next Cinephellas movie review, I'm Uncle Henry Campbell.
And I'm Uncle Logan Cronin. Until the next movie review. Cheers!